At 22, Helena Gualinga belongs to that generation of young female global environmentalists, like Uganda's Vanessa Nkate and Sweden's Greta Thunberg.
Not the least, for example.
Born in a small village in the Ecuadorian Amazon rainforest, she jumped into the public eye at the age of 16, advocating for the protection of the Amazon ecosystem and indigenous people's rights. Helena took her activism to social media, showing herself speaking at the World Economic Forum, marching in the streets, and sending messages from the rainforest.
What is it about you and your content that has allowed people to be able to connect with you? What are you doing that they want to, keep coming back to seeing what you're saying?
I started off my content, I guess, on social media because I wanted to tell a different narrative. I come from the Amazon, an indigenous community in a country where oftentimes indigenous people are invisibilized, and we didn't have the opportunity to tell our own story. Because we also face a lot of threats from extractive industries such as oil companies, mining companies, etc., I wanted to show that, but also show why is it that we resist these companies entering our territories. I want to share the beauty of the Amazon rainforest, of my home, of our identity. And so it started off like that. But behind the scenes, I'm also engaged in a lot of more political work and in directly getting my hands dirty to kind of protect the Amazon rainforest. And so today my content is a combination of all of that, which is kind of showing the way that we live and, the beauty of the Amazon, showing when and where there are threats, but also how do we fight against this and how are we doing it? And it's not necessarily, sometimes it's just small clips and kind of just a little window into that. It's not necessarily to create content, but I do think that people feel like it's a good source of information that is not provided elsewhere.
How has live streaming changed the way that you've done things? Is that something that you try to do? Is important for you?
I do think it is something that we every now and then use, though. If it's something very particular that we want people to engage in, if it's, for example, a vote or something that cannot be explained in the 1-minute reel that people, watch. And so for that reason, I think live streaming can be really good. I think live streaming also in general, outside of my platform has been a really helpful tool for people to kind of, for example, if some kind of atrocity is happening to someone, then if someone live streams it, the entire situation has been recorded and is there.
A lot of times when you see a young person on social media with a large following, they're automatically labeled an influencer, but you are not an influencer.
No, I'm not. And I think because, well, first of all, that's not what I do for a living. And I do hope that I'm someone who contributes to public opinion. That's what I'm aiming for when I am sharing things. I don't have a regular of posting. It's more, there is a need for me to share information right now. I need this to be received in this way by this audience. And then I kind of create something. It doesn't feel like it's the way that I kind of identify myself, but I think the content that I'm posting has more to do with sharing something very specific rather than it being like this, cycle.
In 2023, during a historic referendum, Ecuadorians voted to stop oil drilling in Usuni National Park. Helena's social media campaign is believed to have been key to influencing young voters.
Have you been surprised by the response and the reach that you had and the people tuning in to see you?
Yes, I have. In the beginning, at least, it was very much all positive because most people that were engaging were often there because of the kind of nature shots and the cultural part. But once it becomes more, I guess, pragmatic into what actually goes on behind the scenes, it's harder for people to feel like they're, we're not always going to align 100% with everyone. And I think there's beauty in all these nuances, right? But I think that can be hard for people to comprehend sometimes. And at the same time, the reach is, I would say, the kind of content around the Amazon and kind of these topics don't get much exposure. So seeing that through my channels it does get exposure is also really positive.
Helena, Gualinga, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.